Now, I love it when new treatment options become available, and over the years, it's actually these new additions that have, in some ways, completely revolutionised the impact that I've been able to have on my patients in my consulting room. But news of a new drug release a few weeks ago really made my blood boil. And at first thought you might think that this is because it is a dangerous drug, there are unacceptable side effects, or it just doesn't work very well. But that's actually not the case. This new drug is, the active ingredient is amlodipine. Now this is a drug that we have been using for a very long time to treat primarily hypertension, high blood pressure in cats. So if it's a safe drug, it's an effective drug, it does a really good job, then why am I so against it? Well, what I'm against is that this is a new veterinary licensed drug. It's come out in the UK, but the situation is similar across the world, if not this drug, with others, which I'll discuss in a little bit. And my issue is the price. So this new amlodipine comes in at a cost of about $94 a month to treat a standard sized cat. Now I've converted that from UK pounds into New Zealand dollars, which is where I am. Clearly if you're in the US, you know, the costs are going to be slightly different, but you'll get the gist in just a second, because for human amlodipine, 28 tablets comes in at $27. And when you think of the standard dose for a normal sized cat being at a quarter of a tablet, it's an eighth of a tablet for cats less than 4 kilograms, you see that one box will actually last for 4 months. So on the one hand, with our veterinary licensed drug, it's costing $94 a month. On the other hand, we've got the human amlodipine, which is costing $27 for 4 months. And yes, this human tablet is not easy to give in terms of palatability, so it may be quite challenging to give your cat. Equally, a quarter of a tablet is pretty small. Really, does the cost justify that improvement in ease of administration? Does it justify the cost of about $3.10 per day versus about 24 cents per day to treat a cat in need? And you know, I get that there is a little bit of change in packaging, there's a coating that's been applied, but it's not like there's been a whole load of research and development to come up with a new drug. It's not like there's a completely new formulation that's needed. It's not like there's some special kind of packaging that is cat only. It's just that price is ludicrous. And there are other examples of this being the case. Another really common one is frusemide or furosemide. So we use this in cases of heart disease is the most common reason that we would use this. A 40 milligram tablet of a dog particular version comes in at about 68 cents per tablet. 28 human tablets is $4. So that's a huge price difference again. And this is a drug that we have been using for decades and decades. There's nothing new about it. All that's happened for all intents and purposes is a drug company has paid a license fee. They've slapped a picture of a dog on the box. They've maybe added a coating. They've maybe, not in this case, but in the other case, they've maybe changed the size of the tablet so you're not having to mess around with quartering tablets. But really, that does nothing to justify the cost. Another one, we've got clomipramine. So this is a behavioural drug that we'll use in cases of anxiety and phobia potentially. A 25 milligram human capsule comes in at about $1.02 per tablet. A 20 milligram Clomicalm tablet comes in at about $4.88 a tablet. And okay, they're different sizes. It's a tablet versus a capsule. But again, is the cost justified? And here's the kicker. Because of the prescribing cascade, and I've spoken about that in other videos that I'll leave links to somewhere, vets legally have to use the animal version of these drugs, not the human version. To do otherwise would quite simply be breaking the law. They cannot take cost into the equation. And this cascade goes as follows. It's to use the product licensed for use in that species for that condition. If that's not available, if there isn't a licensed product for that species or for that condition, we need to use a product that's licensed for use in that species for a different condition or licensed for use in a different veterinary species. If there's nothing there, only then can we use the off-label use of human medication. So it comes a long way down the track. You know, costs cannot come into the decision, and pharmaceutical companies, you know, believe you me, they know this. And so they continue to regurgitate these human drugs that we've we've simply been using for years, we're familiar with, there are no concerns. You know, there's nothing that is being brought to the table to add to the welfare, add to our ability to treat, or for me to treat my patients, for you to treat your pets. They're ticking a few boxes and they're laughing all the way to the bank. And yes, they may be changing the tablet size, they may be even changing the formulation to make it a liquid from a tablet, they may be putting a flavoured coating to make it easier to give, and I absolutely applaud that. That's fantastic to have that option, but it should be an option. It should be something where we can say, well, look, I'm struggling to, as a pet parent, we should be able to say, look, I'm struggling to give this, and I would rather pay the premium to give something that I can actually give to my pet versus battling every day and actually it never happening. But we should also have the option to say, well, look, my costs are somewhat limited, and that is the reality in a lot of cases, especially with the money that we're talking about, the costs for these tablets that we're talking about, and at the current climate as well. We should have the option to say, look, I appreciate that there's an option that's easier, but I'm treating a Labrador, they'll eat anything, so I don't worry, and I'd rather have that cheaper option, you know, or whatever it is. Because does the change that's being made warrant a 1200% price increase in the case of this amlodipine, or in my other two examples, a 400% price increase over the human generic? Because the issue is that these new treatments, they're just ramping up that minimum cost to treat all manner of diseases, especially all manner of chronic diseases. And as a result, pricing actually a huge number of animals and a huge number of pet parents just like you out of their ability to treat conditions that maybe previously would have been affordable. And that, in my view, is simply unacceptable. And all of this reinforces my belief that there is something seriously wrong with the pet healthcare system. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments, and you can find out what else is broken in this video linked on screen. So tap on that video. And until then, I'm Dr. Alex. This is Our Pets Health, because they're family.